Hi, this is Sam Benjamin, the star of The Payday, out November 11th, and you're listening to So Fucking Cool.
So fucking cool.
It's so motherfucking cool to listen to So Fucking Cool.
Welcome to So Fucking Cool. It's Jewel B. Today's guest is an award-winning actor, writer, producer, and director, as well as script consultant. His 40-plus credits and counting include The Few, Peaky Blinders, Justice League, Doctor Who, The War of the Worlds, and I Am Vengeance, to name a few. His debut starring role is in The Payday, a post-pandemic British heist film. Ahead of its release on video on demand on November 11th, it is among the top pre-orders on iTunes. Here with us today, he is Sam Benjamin. Stay tuned for our conversation, only on So Fucking Cool.
Hello all, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, how have you been doing, Sam?
I've been doing great. I am in LA at the moment, enjoying the rain, enjoying the Payday about to come out. I'm about to go to Florida to shoot a part in another film. So yeah, life is good.
It sounds good. So did you get to watch The Payday yet?
Yes.
And when you watched it, like, what was going through your mind?
It's always interesting watching a movie if you're in it, because it's a different experience. You've got this hypercritical voice just watching stuff about yourself that other people probably aren't even aware of. Everyone else will be watching, go, oh, I really like that scene when, you gave that line and this, and then you'll be like, yeah, but what was my hair doing in that scene? Like, did you see that? And they'll be like, that's how your hair looks in every scene. And you're like, no, it wasn't. It was slightly different and it was terrible. So it's always weird, but it was great. It was a proud moment. It's my first lead role in a movie. So yeah, and I love the team involved.
So then with what you just shared, how do you react to people like giving you compliments on your work?
I love them and I want them all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not like self-deprecating when they...
It's a weird thing is like, I have the self-deprecating as everyone has a bit of that imposter syndrome or thinking, can I do this? Or am I doing this? Deep down, I've got faith in my ability, but I'm the kind of person that does. I know some people find compliments awkward. I don't find them awkward. I'm like, yes. I think it was, I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was Leonardo DiCaprio, but a very big actor said, it was like, why do you act? And it's like, I act because I want acceptance and people to say that they like me. So there's definitely an element of that, but you just want people to enjoy the movie, like give the compliments that I'd love to hear is about the movie, and compliments about me would be a bonus.
Yeah, well, you're very talented. I know you've heard that. Before we talk more about The Payday, I noticed that you shared some things that screenwriters need to look out for on Twitter. So some of the common things that can happen is the characters are expressing how they feel too much. The audience needs to be told something once, not twice. And 50% of the dialogue needs to be cut. So can you tell us, like, when you came to understand these things?
Yeah, along with writing, I've probably written around 14 movie screenplays at the moment. Obviously, some have been made, most of them haven't, but that's the way it goes, and you learn as you start writing your first efforts, I suppose. And I do as well I do some script consultant work. Some people send me their script, and I give them a service where I read the script and give them the feedback about how to improve it. And yeah, it's just interesting that a lot of common themes or common, I don't want to say mistakes, but pitfalls appear often. You might read a script and the problems in it or the issues in it might be non-typical, or, oh, that's interesting, or that's a very specific thing that this writer does. But generally, I think when I read scripts of aspiring writers, professional writers, young writers, up and coming writers. It's that them. I think that the general thing which those 3 points back up is the audience is smarter than you think. And a lot of people write movies, you know, the audience, when we watch a show, when we watch a movie, we don't want to be spoon-fed what to think or feel, just like we don't in life. So make the audience work for it. The audience likes to be a detective. So, and in life, we don't say what we think all the time. And we often hold it in. We hold in our emotions. We hold in how we really feel until we're forced to, or, you know, in the finale when it all comes out in the wash. So I think it's a really important thing for writers to bear in mind.
Yeah, I love that. The audience likes to play detective.
It's true. It's true. That's why detective shows are so popular.
It's true. Yeah. You know, as an actor also, do you prefer to act like with dialogue or in the body language?
Great question. I think every actor loves dialogue, and because there's so many things you can do with it. It's like having a piece of music, you can play with it. There's different notes you could hit with different beats within that. But I think the more I act, the more I think, and even when I watch movies myself, often the most memorable moments are the moments when a character isn't speaking. It's when they're being spoken to, or when they're reacting to something, or when they see something, or a facial expression when they get some news, or a piece of physical storytelling. It's like, you know, if you can achieve, instead of saying it with a line, if you can achieve it with a look to someone else and them know exactly what it is, and the audience know exactly what it is. Tom Cruise does it a lot in the Mission Impossible films. You notice he's very good at, if he can get away with not speaking, he'll do that. And often he's on a heist where he has to be silent, or he has to give a signal, or so you can have a lot of fun with that. And I love all that business.
So what drew you to acting?
Someone just asked me that. It's a big question. It's one of the few things in life that I've always, ever since I was a kid, I've known I've wanted to do. And I guess I'm one of the blessed that has had undoubted clarity that is what I'm here to do. On more of a life experience example, I was a shy kid. So playing confident characters in shows where really awesome stuff happens and they know exactly what to say was very appealing to me. I think that was a lot of it. And growing up watching, you know, superheroes and action movies and playing with my wrestling action figures and that escapism, and just that letting the imagination run wild and going on adventures was probably what got me in. And then all my family are all movie buff obsessives that, you know, religiously went to the movies and just have that pure love of cinema, which I have, and there's nothing I'd rather be part of more.
So was it one of your family members who encouraged you to pursue it as a career?
Well, this is the weird thing, because I come from quite a working class town in the north of England called Birkenhead near Liverpool. And the people that were movie buffs and obsessed with movies and got me lit up about acting, even though they had all of that, they didn't really see how it was possible for me to become an actor. That was something that other people did over in America, in Hollywood, in Tinseltown, where everyone's glamorous and ordained as the chosen ones. And whereas down on planet Earth in this town in the north of England, it was much more of a case of, so what are you going to be? Are you going to be a plumber or a bricklayer or an accountant or a taxi driver or all of those 9-to-5 type jobs, just because of family history and just expectation of previous things. And the teachers at school are like, yeah. So what do you want to be? Do you want to get the grades? To anything that's got a set path get these grades and become a lawyer, get these grades or get that qualification and you can be a technician in this, etc., etc. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but most of my family couldn't really see how it was possible for me to go from going to a school that doesn't even offer drama as a subject to making money for a living as an actor. So their reservations were grounded in reality. But I just had a determination. My grandmother, I had two wonderful nans, and one of them, she always believed that I could do it. She wasn't particularly into movies per se, but she just saw a fire in me and she always encouraged me. She'd buy me acting books, even if she didn't know much about it. She'd see a play in the bookshop when she was meeting her girlfriends and she'd turn up and be like, oh, I saw this book about acting. I thought you might help you out. And it turns out one of the ones she got me actually is like one of the definitive inspiring books that I read as a teenager. So yeah, so they did encourage and they didn't encourage at the same time.
So how do they feel about the awesome work that you're doing? Are they like surprised?
Well, three of the key people are no longer with us, so I don't know. My both grandmothers and my dad, who would have loved to have seen, me doing my first leading role, but I know they're watching from above. But in terms of my mum, she's coming to the premiere in London in a few weeks, so I'm sure she's very excited about that. And the family, I think they think I'm a bit weird and a bit odd to go into something like this, but I think they're proud.
Yeah, I think so too, Sam. And I can focus on that. Yeah.
Now Sam tells us the heart and soul of The Payday.
The heart and soul of The Payday is I guess it's a working class tale about characters who decide to change what they've been doing in order to get the rewards they feel like they deserve. So it's a genre movie that is a classic heist, but there's also the main character, Jen. She's done all the right things in life. She's got the good grades. She's played by the rules, but she's just never got the breaks, and she hasn't been, comfortable in life. So she decides to switch it up and take a big risk and be willing to fail. So that's one of the messages in there, but it's got a bit of everything. It's about going out of your comfort zone, getting the rewards for it, facing the challenges of it, perhaps finding love on the way as well.
Yeah, and I know something that the movie has been complimented on is, and I agree with this when I was watching it, are not just the performances from you guys, but like the writing is really strong, and the cinematography, the shots, and all of that. There's also like a bit of a tribute to the 90s R&B. What would you say inspired that?
The 90s R&B is Kyla Frye and I. In real life, we're good friends and we've known each other for years, and we've always bonded over 90s R&B and the belief that it was a special era in music that seems to never be matched, especially in the R&B world. So we thought, why not inject a bit of reality into it, and wouldn't it be fun if not only that, but you don't see many movies, especially British movies, that nod to that kind of music, and that's what Kyla and I really love. So we thought, why don't we just put it in there, because it's what we're passionate about, and it might be a fun way for the characters to find common ground, and people that know it might get a kick out of it, and people that don't know it might look it up and go, oh, actually that's a really good tune. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, you and Kyra, you developed the story together and then you wrote it. What can you tell us about that kind of co-collaboration? Like, what goes into it?
So obviously we're both actors and we both met many years ago, and we both had a similar taste in movies. We both loved 90s movies that had that caper kind of risk-taking, cheeky element like Money Train or White Men Can't Jump or Set It Off or The Thomas Crown Affair, all those movies where there's a bit of a hustle going on and there's characters that are trying their luck, but there's comedy, there's also danger, and there's also romance in there as well. And then we just started riffing on what characters could we play in that kind of world. And at first it was just a dream world of like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did characters like this? And then we started to think, well, hang on a minute. Why don't we, digital technology, it's relatively easy to film, or relatively cheaper than it used to be decades ago to shoot a short film at least. So we did shoot a short film in 2015 called Double Cross, and that was kind of the foundation of it. And yeah, it just came out about through passion and desire, an element as well of not getting the opportunity to play the roles that we got into the game to play in the way that Sylvester Stallone did with Rocky, or Matt Damon, Ben Affleck did with Good Will Hunting, or Michaela Cole did with Chewing Gum. All of these artists or actors that thought, you know what, we want to tell this story and we want to show what we can do, and we think this would be a cool thing. So that's where we leaned in, hence the 90s R&B, because I think great writing has authenticity to it. So bring your own experience, bring your own passions, because I think it comes off on screen, hopefully, and the audience will feel that passion.
Okay, and speaking of audiences, when they watch The Payday and any of your other work as well, do you want them to study it or internalize it?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Study it or internalize it. So does internalize mean reflect on it in silence on their own? And what's the difference between, tell me what you mean by internalize.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Like it's making them, do you want them to feel the movie and think about what the movie is saying, the story of it?
I think with The Payday, we made it for movie audiences. And the way I see it is, I'd be happy if many people find it and they've got a night in with their partner, their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, and they go, hey, this looks interesting. Why don't we check this out? And they watch it, and it just takes them on a journey of escapism, and then also leaves them with some things to think about, maybe inspires them and just puts a smile on their face, makes them do a bit of gasps, and just comes away thinking, wow, that was such a good movie. We had a great night that night. That's the kind of because that's the joy I got when I was a kid, or even now, when you've got a night in and you turn on one of the streamers and you're like, oh, let's check this one out. Especially when it's something, you got the big tentpole movies or the movies with like 5 A-listers in it with big expectations, but hopefully this movie is a little sneaky number that people go, hey, did you see this movie, The Payday? Yeah, I hadn't even heard of it, but my God, it was good. That's the kind of reaction that I'd love to get. And whatever the audience takes from it is whatever they take from it.
Love that. And people will be saying that about The Payday.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no problem, Sam. Do you think a good way for people to break into the film and television industry is by making projects with their friends?
Yes, as long as their friends are passionate, dedicated, and have talent that you yourself think is aligned with your talent. Because it's a different thing. It's one thing to have fun with your friends. If you want to shoot things, it depends on what you're after, but to break in, I think make things with your friends if your friends are also on the same page and have that same level of commitment and vision that you share.
Hey, and on that note, Sam Benjamin, everyone. Sam Benjamin, I loved having you on So Booking Cool. Would love to talk with you again in the future. Let everyone know how they can keep up with you, and definitely check out The Payday and anything else that you have going on. You have upcoming projects as well.
So The Payday is available November the 11th on digital VOD, iTunes, Amazon, all the usual places where you can buy or rent movies. In the US, that is. It's out in the UK December the 5th, and it's in selected theaters on the East Coast November 14th. So Google it, have a look on AMC Theaters. And I am at Sam Benjamin now, NOW, if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter. And yeah, hope you enjoy the movie. Give us a try.
Definitely. And thank you to all the viewers and all the listeners. Until next time, so booking cool.